Bayelsa politics this morning, well, you already have seen the headlines how that the PDP says they will go ahead with the primaries this weekend. But we're joined now by Dr. Umar Ardo. He's a member of the People's Democratic Party. He also, as a matter of fact, did vie for the governorship position in Adamawa State. Thank you for coming this morning.
Sure, thank you.
Well, again, the party finds itself in this situation, and as a matter of fact, it's within the same party. And then you have people who are asking, well, now that they say they're going to go ahead with the primaries, and by the way, is this any strange to you, what's happening in Bayelsa with the same your party?
No, I won't say it's strange, because I experienced it myself. I'm a governorship candidate from Adamawa State. I have been a member of the party for the past 6 years, and I vied for the PDP governorship ticket in my state. In fact, I bought my form 2 times because Adamawa, like Bayelsa too, its election was pushed forward. So at least in Adamawa, I was allowed. I was screened. I was said to have qualified, and from there, I was thrown in to go and participate in the process. My experience in Adamawa is that I was excluded completely from participating in the process, although I am accepted as being a candidate, as an aspirant. In the case of Bayelsa, the governor was excluded by means of disenfranchisement by the party.
Okay. I thought there was a screening not allowed process.
Yeah, there was a screening process. The screening process, if you are screened, then there is an appeal.
That's the normal process.
The normal process, according to the party guidelines and according to the publication of the PDP, signed by the National Organizing Secretary. So after the you appeal, after the screening, you appeal, and then if you are not satisfied. But as I understand it, in the Bayelsa case, it seems those that probably were even screened and cleared maybe complain over the clearance of somebody. In this case, that is the governor. So it sort of changed the entire thing and cast a lot of doubt.
Does that mean then that if there's that screening process, the first hurdle, everybody in the party knows that there's an appeal,
yes,
of which you have to subject yourself to?
Yes.
And is it that whatever outcome?
My understanding is that if I am screened and I fail to make it at the screening level panel, then I can appeal to the the higher panel to say this is the reason why I believe I should be screened and cleared. I'm not screened and cleared. These are my reasons. So they will look at it. If they are satisfied, they say you are cleared and you are cleared. And they will look at it. If they are not, they say you are not cleared and then you are not cleared.
I'm excited.
This is the process.
Let me come in here, Elijah. I'm excited that you bring in the Adamawa perspective into all of this. Maybe it will give us a better window into what exactly is happening in Bayelsa State. Yesterday on the phone, we had the Information Commissioner Nathan Egba on phone live on the program, and we asked to know exactly the reasons why the incumbent governor of Bayelsa State was excluded, and he said no reason was given whatsoever. Your party, now maybe drawing from the Bayelsa Adamawa experience, what were the reasons given for your exclusion in that particular process?
No, I was not officially excluded. I said I was, they understand that I am running. But the only thing they did was that immediately after the screening, the next thing is to have delegate forms, because the national will go and conduct, the national panel will go to the state to conduct the delegate election. And the delegate election is a condition precedent to conducting a valid primaries. Without delegate election, without a valid delegate election, there will be no valid primaries. So in Adamawa, when they sent the panel, and constitutionally, that is by the party guidelines, it must be the national panel that will do it. So in Adamawa, because the party wanted the incumbent. In fact, at the point, the party told me that, look, we have decided to do it on all incumbents. We will support all incumbents. So they were trying to dissuade me from contesting against the incumbent. Mind you, in Adama, unlike in Bayelsa, where you have about 9, we were only 2 that participated, that contested, myself and the incumbent. So, in the process of getting it, they then excluded me from the meeting with the panel, excluded me from sales of nomination forms.
Are you still a member of PDP?
Oh yes, I am, very much.
What exactly, they should be speaking to people. There are other members, there are other people who love the party outside the party.
Yes.
So what reasons were given for your exclusion, in a way?
I was not formally excluded.
You have to be formally excluded for you to be given reasons, even if you're being informally excluded.
Yes.
Shouldn't you understand why you're being excluded at all, formally or informally?
I have gone to the party headquarters, complained on the very issues that made me excluded. That is one, on the sales of nomination forms to my delegates. Which is if they don't sell it, that is you are excluded. Then 2, in the meeting of the panel with all stakeholders, that is to say the aspirants, because the delegate election was made purposely to nominate candidate. So it has no other function, and from the moment it finishes that function, it stands dissolved as per the party constitution and the guideline. So they excluded me in that process, and then, so as it is, I was left with no option. I went to the secretariat, did everything under the sun to get the party to listen to me. The party never.
Okay. In this case now, the governor is going to court.
Yes, I am also in court.
Oh, you're also
sure.
in court about the same matter?
Yeah, I went to court, took the party, the INEC, and the incumbent that was declared as the flag bearer of the party.
Okay, but I thought they said, we have heard them say, maybe you could confirm that now, that you cannot take your party to court.
No. The party constitution never said you cannot take your party to court.
What did it say?
What it says is that you cannot take your party to court without first exhausting the internal mechanism of conflict resolution.
Do you think in this case the governor Bayelsa has exhausted it?
Well, he was not even being spoken to, especially like myself. I've submitted a petition way back in 2009. Followed it again. Then I mobilized the foot soldiers of Adama to write petition, submit it to the party. Then it didn't work. I then mobilized the key stakeholders of Adama in the party, including the former vice president, including Alhaji Bamanga Tukur, who is contesting for the party chairmanship, and virtually everybody was in the Wadata Plaza.
Okay. For this case now, since you understand the processes that how it works in your party,
yes,
would you say that they successfully conducted a valid delegate election
in Adama? In Bayelsa?
Yes, what you say is a precedent.
Well, what I'll just say is from the papers, I know that there was a rejection on the part of the party, state chapter of the party, of the primaries, the delegate election. There was a rejection, I think, from, I saw the speaker of the Bayelsa State House of Assembly testing that it did not hold. So if these ones, then the governor himself said it did not hold. So if these ones come together, they say it did not hold, then maybe it did not hold. But you see, the thing is...
So how does it work? Sorry, if there were truly no World Congress, what does that explain?
Then if there was truly no delegate Congress, then there cannot be a valid primaries. It's as simple as that. There cannot be.
Who conducts the Congress? Is it from the National Working Committee
of the party? Yes, it is the National
Party?
Working Committee required by the party guidelines to set up a delegate election panel, usually 4-5. With the woman, they always say, to send to the state, and then it goes to the state, then it meets with the stakeholders in the state. Now, the thing is that, now when this panel went, like in this case, that is the the Mohammed Wakil panel. He's the head of the panel that went to Bayelsa to conduct the delegate election. When the panel came, did they visit the government house?
Are they supposed to?
Well, they are supposed to meet with all stakeholders, and the governor is certainly a stakeholder. In Adamawa, when they came straight, they went to government house. When they finished, they did not think that there was another person that they needed to see. That was me.
I don't quite get the picture. I'm trying to, still put the picture in Bayelsa, or look at the picture in Bayelsa vis-a-vis your experience.
Yes.
What exactly do you think is going on in Bayelsa at the moment?
Well, what I think is that the Bayelsa governor is just not being, by the party leadership, doesn't want him to contest. That is as what I can say.
Because if you look at it, if you look at what your experience was, you said you bought your form, your nomination form, twice. The governor of Bayelsa State also claims that he was cleared twice as well. How do you get to buy a form twice?
Well, you see, we bought the form in December last year, thinking that the election was going to hold in January. That is in April, like all others. So, and we did the processes, the same processes. We are called, then the court said no until 2012. And so it moved to 2012. Then the party decided that you have to buy another form again. You have to start the process all over again. I thought to people like us, maybe to punish us, those that cannot raise the money, 5.5 billion naira.
That's how much a nomination form costs?
Yes.
5.5 million naira.
Yeah, 5 million naira for the nomination form and $500,000 naira for the expression of interest. So if you buy it 2 times, that means you put in 11 million, which is the nomination form for the president.
The question will be, why would you, did you sense anything within the party from the body language of party leaders,
you see,
that they were already going for the incumbent? Because in Bayelsa State, it seems everybody could tell that the incumbent governor wasn't favored by the party.
No, that is the bottom line. But the party cannot just do that, because if it does so, it is doing so by infringing on the fundamental rights, of the governor as a member of the party. And when you go to fundamental rights, you are going to the bottom, and that's why it is outside, a Bayelsa project. It is now, a human rights issue.